We're in the house of brand transformation, and this is one sort of pure, unadulterated, wholehearted transformation story. We had the fortune of interviewing you for our podcast a year ago. You had then been in the business for 2 years. And even at that point, the change was pretty incredible. As Andrew said, taking something that the world thinks it knows completely, totally, end of conversation. This is a hookup app. It is for gay men to get sex fast.
Yes.
Right?
And it still is.
And it still is.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. But you have also embraced all that it is beyond that as well, to kind of form it into what it is today. And that is the amazing thing I think I love about this story is not only did it, was it dramatically transformational. I mean, even like money-wise, we're talking about CapEx of 1.1 billion when you first came in, 2.37 billion today, and with a difficult 12 months.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah.
But it also mega transformation, mega success by just being honest. Like it didn't feel like there was, a need for shiny newness. It was about totally embracing that. So we're going to get into that today and talk about what that honesty has brought to you.
Great.
Let's get going.
Okay. I mean, you're right. It was all there, and it was just about paying attention to how the app was being used, what people wanted from the app. Because you're right, it was set up as a gay hookup app 17 years ago, but it really was by default rather than by design that it became the premier connection point for the gay community globally. And that means that a lot of use cases were kind of hacked by the users. It wasn't set up to be that, but there was a need for that, and so we started to pay attention to what those needs were.
I love the word, I love the term paying attention. It's really nice. I mean, I remember when it launched, it was 2009, I think, I'd just moved to New York. I moved actually close to the Chelsea neighborhood, which has got, at the time, there was quite a strong sort of gay community there. And I just remember this being it was like the night stopper, or it was like mid-conversation with your friends. It was like, I'm off. See you later. It was like, just didn't even get a chance to.
Because they found someone.
Yeah, well, it was just like, okay, swiping like mid-conversation, off you go. It's like completely different sort of behaviour at that point in time for how we would be in a night out, and then suddenly it was just a phenomenon, wasn't it, straight off the bat?
Yeah, so it was the first app that used location services to be able to see just who was around you.
Yeah.
And it took off globally really quickly. It was launched in the US, but then now we're in 190 countries all around the world.
Yeah.
And it fulfilled that need, of finding who's near you, what they're into, what they're looking for, and really just facilitating human connections. It's not about getting people onto the app and keeping them on the app. It's about how quickly can people connect online to have a real life experience.
So when you came in 3 years ago, so that,
3
it
years
was kind of,
now.
3 years now. As you said, there wasn't an awareness problem because it had already kind of was well known in the community and beyond. I mean, I told my mum I was coming to do this with you today. She knows what Grindr is. Hasn't used it, but she's... and so not an awareness issue. And then, so what was the challenge when you walked in the door? What was the thing that you were trying to solve for?
So you're right. We had, within the community that we serve, over 90% awareness, which is an incredible amount of awareness.
Yeah.
What we didn't have was brand love, brand trust, brand equity in all of those markers that are going to engage with people emotionally. And no one was running down the street saying, I'm on Grindr and it's great. And that's because there's, we've got the double-edged sword at Grindr where we've become synonymous with gay sex, which is great because if anyone thinks I would like some gay sex, they will come to Grindr, and that's part of our success. But outside and also within the community, there's so much stigma attached to gay sex. I'll say gay sex again, gay sex. that was what we really needed to overcome because, growing up, we're all, not all, but most of us are taught that there's something not right with that.
Yeah.
Societally, politically, religiously, families, there's just issues with it. And because we'd become synonymous with that, then a lot of that shame was put onto our brand. And we'd never really done anything to overcome that. Before, we'd always sort of tried to be something that we weren't. and not really pay attention to what are some of the issues that we're amplifying through the app that exist in the community. So just being really honest and having a good look at what those issues are and tackling them head on was the task in hand.
We have a poster in our office which is "Be yourself, it's easier." But there's something about the kind of honesty of just owning who you are, and even with the doubters and the haters, and just being able to wholeheartedly embrace who you are, and then kind of own it in a way that then unlocks new possibilities as well. So it wasn't just the case of, right, okay, let's just, hold to what we have. There was also this sort of Jedi mind trick that you played with the kind of reframe that we love, sort of from sort of this hookup app to the definition being that we are a network, we're a community, we are the global Gayborhood in your pocket. How did the sort of reframe come about, or how did that sort of phrase come about?
Yeah, so from the beginning, our strapline was always 0 feet away, which was just related to the proximity of it all. And 0 feet away didn't really tell you all the things that are possible through the app. So the unlock came from actually looking at the product and how was it being used. And one thing that we hold true across the company is that no matter where you are in the world, one thing is true, and that is that where there's people, there will be gay people around you. And if you're in LA or you're in London or you're in New York, it's very easy to find those gay people because you go to the Gayborhood and there will be businesses and there'll be community, and you will go there, yes, to find sex, to find love, to find friendship, safety in numbers, health information, safety information, legal information. And that's what happens in a Gayborhood. But of course, the truth is that in the vast majority of the world, there are no Gayborhoods, but there are gay people. So we decided to position ourselves, because it's really what we are, as the digital layer that reveals the gayness all around you that exists. And when you can find gay people, you will find community, you will find networks, you will find businesses, you will find advice, you will find information. And that's what you can do through Grindr. And so from a product point of view, we're leaning into all of those things. We know that travel is a huge use case for Grindr. Over 25% of our users are traveling at any given time. And that is to be able to get that advice and information about where are the bars, where are the clubs, where's the beach, but also where's safe to go, or where can I get sexual health help, or where can I find a sports group, or how can I make some friends? And so that's one of the use cases that we've just started to pay a lot more attention to. So we're doing that through marketing. We've got a travel series called Host or Travel that amplifies that use case. More than anything, to legitimize the use case, because the stigma around Grindr means that, in so many heads, if you're on Grindr, you're looking for sex. But there's lots of other things that people could be looking for that they wouldn't openly talk about because of this stigma. Know what you're up to. And that's one of the ways that we're starting to do it, and also from a product point of view, add travel features into it.
Yeah, so I love the way it's very connected through the organisation. It feels like it's very much more than, it could easily have been a line, a wrapper, another piece of communication, another campaign, but how did you kind of get that wholehearted commitment within the organisation to live from this point, this reframe? What was the work that happened?
I was lucky. There was a lot of trust from my CEO, George, who came in just before me, really, and he really could appreciate the enormity of what's possible with Grindr. I'll admit myself, when I was perfectly happy in the role that I haven't been there that long, and I got the message on LinkedIn from a headhunter saying, there's this role at Grindr. I did what most people that get approached for a role at Grindr did, which is screen grab it, send it to all my mates and go, look, people actually work at Grindr. But then as I spoke to more people about it, and I understood the product and its possibilities a lot more, from not just from growing that product, but the mission as well is actually really important to everyone at Grindr, which is to make the lives of our community, to become the global Gayborhood in your pocket, and to make the lives of our community free, equal and just. And that's something that's red-dyed throughout the whole organisation, through our lobbying efforts, through our Grindr for Equality efforts. So when I got there, I could see that there was a fairly new leadership team who were all very committed to the mission, to the possibility of the business, and to creating a resource that is needed, because it's obvious that it's needed, because that's how people were using us anyway.
Yeah. So you had that kind of alignment at leadership level. I also like the way that you've built it in. You've baked it into the customer experience, built it into the product experience. We've got to use the word AI. You've also kind of leaning into AI, gay eye.
Gay eye, that's right.
Fucking genius. But for something that is deeply, deeply human, this is a brand that's very much a felt community. Yeah, what's the approach to leaning into AI, and how do you still foster that sense of real, deep human connection?
So we look at AI in many ways. One way is, how do we make the product better, from building and shipping product faster? So our engineers are shipping 2.5 times as much code as they were this time last year. So we've been early adopters of AI and how it's integrated into the platform to create better connections, to get better details on people around you that you might match with, to build the new product, to detect bad behaviors, which we know happen in any social app. And also from a marketing point of view, we look at it in terms of getting everything faster. So, we get quicker insights, we can build content quicker, we can get our campaigns out quicker. Of course, the question now is, now that everything is faster, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing more. You should be doing better.
Yeah.
So from a product point of view, AI is used to facilitate better connections in real life sooner. And from a marketing point of view, it's changed our role a bit, in that it's more about judgment. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So the stuff that we put out is informed by AI, but not necessarily directed by AI.
I guess raises the importance of absolutely nailing your point at the center, having a really kind of solid sense of self.
Yeah.
In a world of infinite creation, multiple platforms, AI powered, just the importance of just having that single filter through everything.
Yes.
And it does seem, we talk about the freedom of a tight brief, of once you've done that, it kind of gives you, it doesn't feel limiting, it gives you the freedom of expression. And certainly from some of the things that you've been doing, it looks like you've been having quite a lot of fun.
Yes.
So Who's the Arsehole, Gay Sheep on a Runway, I Will Survive, Daddy Lessons, Madonna Breaks the Grid, all my favourite tracks.
Oh, yes. All of those.
You've been having some fun, but what's in those projects? What kind of holds them together? What's the spirit of them?
So, at a surface level, it's about entertaining and engaging our audiences with Grindr in a way that they never have been before, because it shows that we're reflecting their lives, their interests, their passions back to them, and showing that we understand them. Pepe on my team always says the internet moves fast, but the gay internet moves faster. So it's very much about keeping track of what the next thing is.
Yeah.
With those that you've mentioned, so Who's the Arsehole is a podcast that's hosted by Katia, who's a well-known drag queen in the US from RuPaul's Drag Race. We purposefully wanted her to host it out of drag, to show the kind of the more vulnerable and the more real part of her, because she's been very open about her mental health and her addiction struggles. And the premise of Who's the Arsehole is, we all complain about bad behaviors online, inappropriate pictures being sent to you, bad behaviors, all of the isms. But somebody's doing it. Someone on those platforms are actually the ones that are doing this. And have you thought maybe it's you? Yeah. And have you thought about why it's you? And is that okay? So it's having very much humorous, light-hearted conversations about quite deep topics that we get accused of all the time. And it's about showing that we're aware of those and we're responding to them. And we know that we're not perfect, and we do everything that we can to resolve it. But ultimately, humans are messy, and humans have certain behaviors. So it's about having that open dialogue.
It's basic human conditioning that's what you connect with, right? That's why if you're a community, just that sense of the open book that you continuously talk about, just being open and vulnerable and just leaning into these conversations feels like a pretty important part of the brand, like a pretty...
I think it's key to the brand, and yet, you know, for a long time we ignored it. So, you know, for instance, Grindr is often accused of being responsible for there being fewer gay bars and gay clubs in Gayborhoods because people aren't going out anymore because
Got
they're
no
staying
time
in,
because we're just getting straight to...
just scrolling and finding someone, and why should I go to a bar? I mean, you know, maybe, but I'd say that's a bigger kind of like tech generation other issue. But to respond to that, we do have a lot of IRL activations to get people out. We do show how we want you to meet people in real life sooner, you know, the sooner the better through the app. So they're all conversations that rather than shy away from them, we want to take part in and be part of that conversation, because I think, you know, very much having that open palm approach to it pays dividends, because people trust you more.
And then Gay Sheep on a Runway.
Gay Sheep on a Runway.
And it's an award-winning Gay Sheep on a Runway.
Yes,
or
we've
award
won,
nominated? Or
we so far 4 nominations at Cannes.
Okay.
We've won Clio's, we've won One Shows.
What are we talking about?
Gay Sheep. This gay sheep farmer, he had an agency that was doing pro bono work for him. 1 in 12 sheep are gay. And the role of those sheep, 1 in 12, there will be questions. The role of those sheep is to impregnate ewes, and if they're not doing that, then they get sent to the grinder.
Oh.
See what I did there? I know I shouldn't be laughing. No, awful. So
this is the moment that gets the
So Michael Stucher in Germany saves these gay rams and farms them for wool. So he's got a gay wool company. So they reached out to me on LinkedIn, a lot of this happens on LinkedIn, and said, we'd love to do something with you, the world's biggest gay company, to, you know, highlight the plight of gay sheep. Could we do some kind of sponsorship or do something in the app? And I thought we can do a lot better than that. So why don't we create the world's gayest fashion show in New York Fashion Week? So we teamed up Michael in Germany with Michael, the designer in LA, to create this fashion runway show with all gay stereotypes, I guess. It's not stereotypes, what's the word? Something types. Anyway, thank you, archetypes.
Thank you.
And so we had the pizza delivery guy and the Paul boy and all that kind of stuff. But they were really incredible pieces, and we had this runway show which got incredible coverage because it just set everyone's imagination on, you know, these sheep that would otherwise be destroyed. And, you know, it's very much a similar story to how gay people are treated very much around the world, you know, discarded, not seen as valuable, you know, not taken seriously in the way that these gay sheep were. So there was a lot of layers to the story. You know, on one level, it's this very fabulous fashion show, but there's a serious story behind it all.
I love it. I love the layers. I think, you know, gone are the days where, you know, you need to act like an institution to be purposeful and worthy. You know, you can have a lot of fun with it, and you obviously are.
It was. I mean, it was camp as Christmas. It's ridiculous. We're now going to be auctioning those pieces because they're one-of-a-kind pieces that are knitted. They're incredible pieces.
Do you have a piece yourself? Are you allowed to?
I got gifted a Ken doll in a miniature knitted sailor outfit with gay wool from Gay Sheep.
How many times can we say the word gay? Let's keep
the
going.
Company's called Rainbow Wool, by the way.
I love it. Let's talk Madonna.
Madonna.
CEO said it was more than a partnership, it was a homecoming. It felt like something that was perfectly fitting, came to you, you didn't have to strive for it. Is that correct?
Do you know what? I tried to make it sound a lot harder, but yes, it was pretty straightforward. So Madonna's for 40 years.
Can you explain who Madonna is to people?
Yes.
No?
So for 40 years, she's been one of the strongest allies of the community. You know, she stood up for us when it really could be career damaging to do so. You know, during the AIDS crisis, with films like Truth or Dare, In Bed with Madonna. She was really representing young gay men in a way that they hadn't been before. And the community's always had a lot of love for her because of that.
Yeah.
So Guy Orseri, her manager, contacted us back in December saying that he'd like to partner with us because she's got this new record coming out, Confessions 2, which is a hark back to the dance floor. And that's because, you know, she believes that in times of difficulty, which we kind of are in at the moment,
Yeah.
everyone should get back to the disco and dance a lot more. And she recognizes that the gay audience helped put her where she is and have kept her where she is. And she also knows from a commercial point of view that, you know, if she engages us, who tend to be tastemakers, opinion formers, trendsetters, then her record's probably going to do quite well. So we had a really 360 integrated campaign with her.
What did you do?
We had a limited edition vinyl that was only available through the app, which has sold incredibly well. We had a whole app takeover where our sound was changed for a while with her
Amazing.
saying thank you for coming. We had in-app content, Confessions with Madonna, which was her and her gay friends talking about all kinds of sexual things that are probably NSFW. Well, they are definitely NSFW. And that content lives in the app uncensored, but we also put it on the socials a bit more censored. But then the big part of it was we had a Times Square pop-up concert.
I saw that.
Which was the hardest thing to keep secret and had about 200 people involved in it at the end. But we could only announce it 30 minutes before going live. Because otherwise Times Square would have shut us down for you know, crowd control, safety, all that kind of stuff. So it was a big bet. She wanted to do Times Square because when she turned up in New York in the early 80s with $35 in her pocket, she got in a taxi and said, drop me in the center of everything, and he dropped her in Times Square, which feels like a bit of a mean joke. And she stood there and she thought, one day I'll make it here. So this was kind of a homecoming for her.
Love it.
It was at the beginning of June to celebrate Pride. Within 30 minutes, through the app and through our socials, we got 80,000 people in Times Square to watch this 20-minute pop-up concert that came out of a billboard. And it was just incredible. It was an incredible moment. We got global coverage off the back of it, broke the gay internet for a couple of days, and people are still talking about it. And the partnership's not over. We've still got one more thing to do with her.
Flipping it, I mean, you said it's been a bit of a difficult time. We talked about this just before the chat. You're in 190 countries, 61 of those, it is either illegal or highly frowned upon to be gay.
Yes.
How does that change your way that you show up in the world, your behaviour? What does that do?
It has to be very different in those markets. So we'll frequently be asked, should you even be in those markets? Are you putting people at risk by being there? And we constantly consult with local NGOs, human rights organisations. And the resounding answer is always yes, because without you, there'd be no way for them to connect with each other. And also through our Grindr for Equality initiative, we partner with local NGOs to use our platform to give out information about sexual health, about legality, about safety, and get it to a community that through traditional media, they just couldn't be reached because of the legality of it all and persecution. You know, in some of those markets, even the authorities will try to use Grindr to entrap users. So it's something we keep a very close eye on, and we keep it quite quiet because we don't want to bring too much attention to it and too much attention to us. We have all kinds of notifications in the app about how to stay safe. You can change the logo, you can turn the sound off, you can make it a dark app. But we work very hard to stay in those countries because we know that we're a lifeline to that community.
I can see the determination in your eyes. I like it. Oh, look, I mean, amazing journey to now. You must be really, really proud. Last question is always future focused. Is there, in the name of honesty, is there a kind of a truth yet to be told? Is there another level to Grindr that's yet to come out?
I think it's all the different use cases. You know, within the community, there's still a lot of stigma in that if you're in Grindr, you're looking for hookups. Now, we always say that when people say Grindr is just a hookup app, the problem with that sentence isn't the word hookup, it's the word just.
Yeah.
And so it's everything else that we can bring to a community where community really matters and safety in numbers does matter and finding each other really does matter. So that's the story that we're going to keep on telling, keep uncovering new ways that we can help through healthcare, through travel, through legal services, through friendship, through better dating. All of that stuff is still to come.
Love it, inspirational. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been lovely.
Jump on the ball.